Okay, so it is Tuesday, May 9th. And if you missed yesterday, we started some new units yesterday. And so if you missed those, make sure you stay on today and ask me a little bit about it to make sure you know what to do, especially with the writing. If you didn't come to the 1220 and you haven't checked out the new writing unit, you should probably check it out. At this point, you're not behind. Just to let you know, the prompt for this month, the language arts unit is all about visiting Washington, D.C., and in particular about visiting what's called the National Mall, which is a part of Washington, D.C. that's a big park that has over 200 monuments and memorials in it. And so you're supposed to learn about those monuments and memorials and pick one that you think is significant and write about it. And so we watched some videos on them yesterday. You can get your research through the stories in the unit. Or you can get them through videos, so or books. So today we'll continue with that. I won't actually do a lesson today, but if you missed yesterday and you want to come in at 12:20 and just get some help with the writing unit, you can. In language arts today, that we'll take a look at where the prompt is. And I did take and make a whole separate thing explaining the writing unit. It's in the front. So this morning, we're going to start with something. This month's character trait that we're working on is creativity, which is a great one to have at the end of the year when we all need a little, oomph to get through the year. So the middle schoolers or high schoolers, I'm not sure which, made a slideshow. They were creative and they made their own I Spy. So I thought we'd play that to begin with. And you guys can look for these things and just check off how many you can find. We'll have about, 2-3 minutes to look at it. Here it is, created by Flex High School students. So we're going to go into slideshow mode. Maybe if it does it, presenter view, loading, really loading. Okay, here we go. I don't want to do that one. Let's do, this is a pretty good one. I don't know how well you can see it. Go ahead and just keep track of all the things you can find in 3 minutes and see who can find the most. So green and yellow kite. Can you guys see it okay? Yeah. Okay. Beach ball. Yeah. Name. Flamingo. Oh, there's a flamingo. I'm not sure how they made these, but these are kind of fun. On our next flex week, our last flex week, this could be a fun thing to do, is make an I Spy. We'll do a creativity flex week, and you can do whatever you want to be creative on our next one in 4 weeks. So far, they're pretty easy to find. Have you been able to find all of them? Oh yeah, those are some high jumping whales and dolphins. Pineapple with sunglasses. That's funny. Do they just cut and paste all these images on here, you think? Lizard. I haven't found the lizard. Okay, who's got a clue for me on the lizard? Oh, there it is, I think.
I also need a clue on the lizard.
Look at the bottom of the screen. He's not even that colorful, to tell you the truth.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Color. Sun hat. What's a sun hat?
I don't know. I'm looking for it now. A hat for the sun. But I don't know where.
It's basically like a sombrero.
Does anybody see it?
I see it.
Any clues? Top, bottom,
white.
Left, right? It's white? Oh,
it's
okay.
White and to the left.
Okay, I see it. Soccer, that's an easy one to spot. Tennis, there it is. tennis ball. Huh. All right, I'm kind of stuck on the tennis ball. Anybody see it? I might have to skip that one.
The tennis ball is somewhere near the bottom.
Really? Huh. I see a beach ball. I might need help with that one.
Why is there a giant Clifford?
Because that's one of the things you had to look for. Colorful diamond.
Finished.
Yeah, you found them all? Oh, I think I see the diamond. It's not very clear though.
Me too.
Fairy. Good job. Oh, there's the fairy. I found everything but the tennis ball. I can't see the
I
tennis
also see
ball.
fairy.
The tennis ball is near the racket.
Okay, who do you think Moto G Stylus is who's trying to come in? I'm going to send them a chat saying they can't come in unless they change their name. Where's the waiting room? But you guys never get my messages in the waiting room, do you?
Let him in.
Is it Eli? Is Eli here?
Eli's here.
He is? Okay, who's not here, who that might be? All right, I'm gonna let him in and we'll see who it is.
Who's it?
I don't know. Moto G Stylist, you need to change your name or I'm not gonna keep you in, I'll kick you out. No, they can't hear us yet. It's not Kainoa, it's not Eli.
It's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lauren. Is that you?
I was joining on. Yeah, I was joining on my phone so I can show you
Okay,
the puppies if that's okay.
I'm just gonna rename you, okay?
Oh yeah, I don't know how to my name because I joined on on my phone.
Is that the name on your phone, Moto G Stylist?
Yeah, that's the. I don't know why. That's the
Okay.
phone.
All right, it sounds like you guys found them all. I did not ever find the tennis ball. Where is it?
Next to the racket.
Yeah, the
That
racket is
pink
hitting
thing?
it.
That pink thing is the tennis ball with the, it looks like
No, the one under the racket.
oh, it's
Yeah,
under the racket, that
racket.
teeny tiny thing. Oh, well, that's very small. Okay, that was kind of fun, huh? Those guys were creative. Do you think it would be fun to make one of those sometime?
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to make one with you guys in it. I'm going to try to make one with all of you in it. Look at the puppies. There they are. Oh, they're so cute. They're so fat. They're having breakfast. All right, you guys, good job. So we are working on creativity this month. First, I'm going to take a look at the lesson that we have on creativity. We're going to watch the video if I can find it. Where is my, here it is, Be Well. Okay. And then if we have time, we'll maybe play a creativity game, but maybe not. We'll see. What is creativity? Bum, 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 bum.
What is creativity?
Creativity is making up your own game at recess.
Creativity is how I express myself. Creativity is all the paint colors and all the art supplies.
Creativity is finding a crazy new way to work a math problem.
Creativity is using your imagination to create something new.
Or solve a problem. Why does creativity matter? Being creative even makes your brain stronger.
Did you know creativity lowers stress? We could all use that.
Being creative helps you connect with others.
What does creativity look like?
I like being creative by composing music. I'm actually working on a song right now. I just find a tune and I put it in a song, and I find multiple tunes, get them together to make this one giant piece, and it's going pretty well.
I like to express my creativity like through acting and singing and also dancing. Like this one time I got to audition for my school play and I got to play the lead role, which was really fun. I love to make up crazy science experiments and see how things are built. It's your turn. How will you practice creativity? Because what we practice becomes a habit, and good habits grow character.
Okay. So you can think about creativity, and we'll have a chance to do more with that later in the week. And if we have time today, we'll play one of the Get Connected creativity games. But I also think on Thursday, when we do in-person and online, we'll have some fun creative things that you guys can do. Kind of open-ended things where you can express your personality. All right. The other thing we need to talk about is the language arts lesson. So we're on to a new lesson today. It's a new unit that we started yesterday. You should have taken the pre-test yesterday. I don't know where I wrote down the lesson. There it is. 1201. So today we're starting with the first lesson, and it's going to introduce us to the National Mall. So let's just take a quick look at it. So if we go into the calendar, you're going to see it tells you that we're doing lesson 1201 today. Again, when you have a lesson like this where nothing's assigned that day, it's not going to pop up as an assignment. So you have to click on Tuesday, May 9th, and then you can see it's the lesson 1201 structure, text structure, origin of rights. We'll go ahead and click on that. But if you look on the calendar, on the calendar, you'll see 1201 isn't due till tomorrow. So there's a quiz tomorrow, but today you do the lesson. So here we go into the lesson 1201, origin of rights. So this is a 13-page lesson where you're starting to get introduced to some of our national symbols. And then in social studies, we're studying the documents. So you're on the road again. This time, Carolina and her family have driven to the beautiful city of Philadelphia, which used to be the capital of the United States, located in Pennsylvania. Carolina is ecstatic to see the historic Liberty Bell. Has anybody ever seen it? I have never been to Philadelphia. That's where the president's wife is from, Jill Biden. She always wanted to see the crack of the bell up close, and this is her chance. See the big crack in the bell? On Carolina's tour, she learns that in the 1750s, the bell was used to signal to bring lawmakers to meetings and local people together to hear the news. It wasn't until 1830s that it became a big American symbol. Today, it's a symbol of liberty, which means a state of freedom. It's a powerful reminder of a time when America fought together for freedom and independence for some. After 90 years of use, did you know the bell cracked again? Metalworkers worked hard to repair the crack by widening it even more. They did this to prevent the spread of the crack and to preserve the tone. The crack, as it turns out, is actually the repair job. Who knew? Think about other symbols that represent America and share them with a friend or family member. Then take a look at these possible answers. The flag, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the bald eagle, which is our national bird, was almost the turkey vulture. The president, the Statue of Liberty, Mount Rushmore, the Pledge of Allegiance, voting, the Great Seal of the United States. I don't even know what that one is. Declaration of Independence, our national anthem, the "Oh, say, can you see?" Do you guys know the national anthem? I'm sure you've heard it before games and things, but you should learn it. In this chapter, you're going to do all of these things. This is a lot. Again, you're going to have some idioms, adages, proverbs, comparing and contrasting to text structures, using quotes, and that's going to be in your writing, reading a text with purpose and understanding, writing sentences without using the double negative. So what they're talking about there is, we don't talk no way like that. We don't put no twice in a sentence. I don't got no shoes. That's poor grammar. You say, I don't have any shoes, or you say, I have no shoes, but you only put one negative in there. You're going to conduct a research project using several sources to build knowledge on a topic. This time, the topic is going to be a national monument. You're going to gather information from print and digital sources and provide a list of sources. So we've been talking about this all year. This one actually requires you to make a list of where you got your information. Write a multi-paragraph opinion essay using evidence and explain what rights are and how they were developed. Okay, so here we are. A spark can start a great fire. This is just some proverbs. We're going to skip page 2 and go on to page 3. Reading corner, the Benjamin Franklin Museum. So we're in Philadelphia. We are not in Washington, D.C. yet, so this one doesn't count. You can't choose the Liberty Bell or this particular place. But it is teaching us about Benjamin Franklin. We had some kids do a report on him before, so this should be pretty interesting. So they're talking about an experiment about how water moves that you can do here, kind of fun. And It's talking, I don't know what it's actually talking about. The fin or pedal is just like you moving your hand through the water. That's not a very interesting experiment, but whatever. Working together. Now we're talking about some text structures. Remember, text structure can go in a lot of different ways. You can have two things you're comparing and contrasting. Chronological order means in order of time, first, then, later, after that. You could have cause of effect. A lot of times science books are written this way because of greenhouse gases and people using cars. Then we have global climate change. We had a book like that the other day that I read out loud. And problem and solution. We were talking about that with animals. When they get overpopulated, the solution is that some die off. Learn more about these text structures here. This is kind of a repeat of things you've done this year, but you can go quickly through it. Different text structures. You should be able to label some text structures and say this is a book that does compare and contrast. Types of governments and the rise of rights. Page 5 is important. You need to pay attention to the types of governments. This is going to be important to your assignment for this unit. Because if you look, oh no, is this one a quiz? This one's a quiz. So I guess it's the social studies has this assignment. But this is part of your social studies assignment, is understanding what philosophies and what famous people our government is based on. So this is also teaching you about it. And you could take notes in social studies on this writing as well. This thing goes for like 6 pages, types of government, the monarchy, which they have in England, although not really. The King of England, even though he was just crowned, does not really rule. He's just a figurehead, it's called. Types of governments, all different governments. It's pretty interesting. Democracy and what it was based on. And again, from one person, a king, to everybody helping to rule. So again, here's our Congress when it was first built. And then it goes the rise of rights. Remember, you're going to have to understand what your rights are. So here is an essay on rights in America. John Locke, who was a philosopher who wrote about rights and the causes of the revolution. So some of this is repeat. Lauren, you should really like this. Look at this ancient history with Cyrus the Great, King of Persia. So this is some history on the rights of the United States and the American Revolution. Should be kind of repeat from what you learned last month. Events leading to the American Revolution. All of this looks pretty familiar. And so you can go through this pretty quickly. When you read something else about a topic you've already read about, it helps you to understand the topic because you already have a lot of background knowledge. So this should go pretty well. Read through that chapter. And then checklist, excellent work, junior reader. We knew you could read those texts. So this is part of your reading in addition to book club, is reading these stories in the chapter. You know, I have a chart showing me how long you spend reading pages in Florida Virtual. And I can see how many pages you looked at and how long you spent on each page. Some of you don't read the pages. I can see that, I know that. But I also see it in your results on the quiz because you need to read the pages in order to do well on the quizzes at the end. So make sure you read them. Others of you are spending a long time on these pages. So good job. So it says reread the stories. As you read, highlight some keywords, underline details, take some notes. Here's the story again. And then here's a new one, defending rights. So there's quite a bit of reading because this language arts is about reading. Look how long this one is. So this one is about human rights, the American Revolution, some protests, defending your rights today. Should be pretty interesting to you because there have been a lot of protests, even in Portland in the last few years, and they have been about human rights. So here's some of your rights: freedom of speech. You don't have to house soldiers like the English made the Americans put their soldiers in their homes and let them eat their food. You have the right not to have your house searched unless somebody has a permit to do that. Life, liberty, and property. If you're accused of a crime, you have a right to a court case. You have a right to not be punished until you're, convicted of a crime. And then there are some rights that are in the state, not at the national level. So this is pretty interesting, learning about what rights you have. Here's something on John Locke, the philosopher who thought that human beings had certain rights. One of the rights that they've been talking about lately is, does everybody have a right to internet? Should our country provide internet for everyone? Because it's so unfair if you can't afford to buy internet. So here's the American Revolution again. You can whisk through that part, go on in human rights to later on. Forms of protest. Henry David Thoreau, he was a philosopher. He believed in civil disobedience. That meant within the law saying, I won't do it. I'm just not going to do it. He was protested for not paying taxes and thrown in jail. This is women protesting the fact that they didn't have the right to vote. And then Martin Luther King talking about how it wasn't fair jobs and freedom wasn't fair for people of different races. And here's something about defending your rights today. And that's been in the news a lot lately. Equity, and taking a look at what's fair and not fair. So here's a compare and contrast graphic organizer on text structures. That's about halfway through the lesson. And then we start into, here's a compare and contrast on the Bill of Rights and all the amendments, the First Amendment, Second Amendment. These are all the amendments in the Bill of Rights, which are the things that you have a right to in this country. And then we start on Writer's Workshop. So here's where it talks to you about what we're writing about this month. The Secret Cave did not have none of the treasures they wanted. So this is your grammatical lesson on not using double negatives. Never using double negatives, no way. The next page talks about the writing process. This week we're brainstorming and researching. Next week we're planning and writing. The third week we're revising, and the fourth week we're editing and publishing. Here is a reminder of what an information and opinion essay is all about. An introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So if you forget, it's here. And here is the prompt. In your opinion, which monument or memorial in the National Mall is most significant? Use evidence from your research to support your opinion. Now, here is a text, the National Mall. I imagine it's up here in resources as well. This text is the one you could use for part of your research. Remember, this time you have to say where you got information from. And if you're going to cut and paste anything, you've got to put it in quotation marks to show they're not your words, or you need to paraphrase it and say, in the story, The National Mall, I learned. And it talks about the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, the Franklin Roosevelt Memorial, the Vietnam Women's Memorial. That's interesting. Martin Luther King Memorial. So it only talks about those. There are 200 memorials at the National Mall. And so don't worry about doing one of those, but you can do one of those. You can do a different one if you want to. On page 10, they talk about how to brainstorm and get organized. What you need to come up with is your main idea, which monument you want to write about, and then like your 3 big things you're going to tell about it. So it says make a mind map, which memorial is most significant. You could say this one, and then maybe come up with 3 reasons you think it's most significant. So you have to decide what you think is most significant and why. So that is pretty much the chapter. And then tomorrow after reading, so today you should spend most of your time reading on the chapter. And then the last page of this tells you to take the quiz. So here's the quiz, text structure, origin of rights. If you want more information on the National Mall, YouTube, monuments in the National Mall. There are tons and tons of all the memorials. This one's an hour-and-a-half long. This one's 20 minutes long, a National Mall Memorial Parks tour. I would recommend, we watched this one yesterday, this 12-minute one. If you missed yesterday, you probably want to go watch that. But you probably will want to look at some of this before picking the monument that you want. I'll put a link to this in the chat in case you want to click on that now and go watch some of those, everyone in the meeting, to pick your national monument. I would suggest that you pick your monument today, and then you can start doing research on it tomorrow, and then read through the chapter today.